friends, welcome to Acres of Clay, where today I'm going to be planting my onions and my leeks. This video is actually part 2 of my first video where I was setting everything up and getting my shelf and the lights and the grow mats ready for seed starting. So you can check out that video. I'll leave a link up here somewhere and you can see it there. This will be a quick video where I'm going to show you how to plant onion seeds. You're going to need to have some trays and some inserts to the trays. So I have trays and then I have the inserts. I've had these for quite a while and I actually just reuse them year after year. If you're going to reuse them year after year, you want to make sure that you clean them very well. Mine are still a little bit wet, but I've been letting them air dry. I wash them with hot water, and a little bit of bleach will kill any bacteria that may be on here as a residue from the previous year. There are some plants like tomatoes and onions which are really prone to getting like a fungus disease. So in order to cut down on that possibility, be sure to wash everything thoroughly before using them again the next season. If something that was planted in here last year had a disease and then you reuse it without washing it, there's a good chance that that disease is still on the outside of this, or if there's any residue of soil from last year, then there is a good possibility that that next plant will also develop that same disease. If you are going to rinse these out with bleach and water, it just takes a little bit of bleach. So maybe like a gallon of water to a tablespoon of bleach, and just give them a good thorough rinse and they should be good to go. So this one actually is going to be my onions. This one's going to be my leeks. I'm going to do more onions than leeks. This will be my first year planting leeks, so I just want to kind of get my feet wet and try some of them. I don't want to go crazy about it. So that's the plan for today. Now in here, which you may not be able to see, this is a tote and it has my potting soil in it. I usually just buy a regular potting soil that it's a mix of everything that it needs. I put the soil in a tote like this, and then I pour boiling water over the top of that and I stir it all in there. The boiling water will kill any potential eggs that might be in there from fungus gnats, because fungus gnats are not something that you want in your soil. So my potting soil has been sitting in here now for a little bit. Another reason that I do this is not just because the main reason I put the boiling water is for the fungus gnats, but I also do it because my potting soil has been in my garage sitting there for a while now and it's really cold. This warms the soil up. It also pre-moistens it so that I have plenty of moisture to get those seeds germinating. So what I'm going to do is fill all of these up, and once I get that done, then I'll show you the next step. I have all of these filled, and again, this is just an average potting soil. I'm not too fussy about it, but this is the one that I've been using for years, and I've had good success with it. So if you have good success with something, keep going on it. Anyways, I filled these pretty much full, but not all the way, just because I'm going to put more potting mix on top of these. This one's a little bit low, but just press it down just a little bit here. I guess I could add some more to these. Now I only have this seed that I'm actually growing right now. Hopefully, if I can find some more seeds, I'll grab some more from the store or something, but that's what I have for right now. Anyways, I don't even know how to pronounce the name to this, but these seeds are really, really small, and I'm just gonna probably put, I don't know, 15 in each one. Just kind of spread them over the surface of this. Now I have all of the seeds planted, and I planted actually pretty heavy in each one because you're going to have some that don't germinate, and then you'll have some that are weaker, and you're just gonna separate those later once they start to develop more. And I can show you that later on. But just packing that down just a little bit to make sure they're all in there. And now I'm going to cover these with a little bit of potting soil. Just take some in your hand like this and cover it up. Just cover them up, maybe 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch. Doesn't have to be super deep. So these are good to go. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing with the leeks. Just set these over here a second. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the leeks. Go ahead and plant them, and I will broadcast them just on the top and then cover them with some more potting soil. If you have like a dome that can go over this, that would be great. It will hold in the moisture better. If you don't, that's fine too. But if you're using grow mats, then you can have those on, and that'll keep the soil warm, and that way germination should take place within a few days if the conditions are right. Also want to mention how I water. I always water from the bottom up. I never pour water on the top. You can, on the first little bit, you can just spritz water over the top of them while they're germinating and getting ready, that because they're so far up and there's no roots. But I would steer clear from over watering them. You just want your soil to be moist. Thanks for joining me on this quick video starting my first seed of gardening season 2021. There will be more to come, so if you like this type of video, please consider subscribing and hit that thumbs up button. That helps my channel out greatly. So it's been maybe 3 weeks since I made the video about planting the onion seeds and the leeks, and this is how much they've grown. As you can see, this side here is the leeks. You're gonna see that there's still some sprouting. All these little ones here, these are just sprouting ones. They haven't even fully emerged out of the ground yet. And so, you know, there's still a lot of seeds that are potentially going to come up. But I think for the most part, my onion seeds have all pretty much sprouted. I'm not sure how many onions I actually have here, but it looks like it's a good start anyways. I think I could have sowed them heavier in the trays, but maybe some of them didn't germinate. You never know. So you can see, kind of get an idea how tall these are. They're probably 3-4 inches high. And now is a good time that they're pretty well established. Some of them are starting to get their true leaves. The first leaf, actually, if it's called a leaf, they will die off, turn brown, and then you'll get your real leaves. But I like to trim mine back. I think once they reach about 3, 4, 5 inches high, it's a good idea to trim them back to about 2 inches or so. This will encourage the onion to grow thicker and stronger, so that in the end, when you go to transplant them, you'll just have a much stronger onion. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and I'll show you how to do this. So you can see my onions here, and all I'm going to do is basically, you can take a bunch at a time, because usually they're planted in bunches. And then I just carefully trim them up like this, and then you can actually eat these. These are like little chives almost, and you can eat them in your salads or your sandwiches or whatever. So you don't throw those away. But just leave maybe an 1.5 to 2 inches, and that way they will start to grow back, and just they will be a stronger onion. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of these. And you got to be kind of careful, because they're still very delicate, because their root systems are very weak, and so they're easily pulled up out of the soil if you're not too careful. Do that with the leeks also, and the next step will be showing you planting these in the garden. There. I accidentally uprooted one of them. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's what the root structure looks like at the moment. I'm actually going to just plant it right back in some soil and it should be fine. My soil is moist at all times, not wet and damp, but it's moist, and that just keeps a good environment because onions like to grow in moist conditions. So that's what my onions are looking like at this point. The next time I will show you my onions is probably when we go out and transplant them and break them all apart. So I will bring you back for that. Before we leave, I want to show you all the other seedlings that I've planted so far and what is up and what still needs to come up. Okay, so this here are peppers, and I think most of these have all germinated. These ones are just starting. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's 2 of them. I planted 2 pepper plants per cup, but if you look, this one here only has 1, and this one only has 1. These are the first that I planted the beginning of March, so this is how much growth. This one actually has 3, so I must have got a little carried away with that one, but these are the first ones that I planted. Once these get a little bit bigger, I'll decide which one's the stronger one and then probably remove the weaker one. So this one also only has 1 in there. So I think I replanted that one though. These are not up yet. I planted these the 16th of March, and today's the 24th, so it hasn't even been 10 days yet, but I haven't seen anything in this tray as far as sprouts. This tray I also started with that first one that I showed you, so they're starting to get their first true leaves. These ones actually, it's called a blot pepper. It's the first time I'm planting the blot pepper, and they all germinated 100%. So these are probably the biggest. The only one that is kind of wonko is this. Can you see this? It's like a little stem. So if it brings forth its first true leaves, I'll keep it. Otherwise, I'll just pull that one out. And then these, I think I had to replant. Can't remember why. They just weren't sprouting. If that was an old seed, I can't remember. It's called Spanish Mammoth. They were seeds from 2 years ago, I think. So I planted some fresh seeds in these cups, and we'll see how well that does. This tray here, I planted on the 20th, so just 4 days ago, and you can see all the little green. These are all flowers, so I have zinnias, marigolds, daisies, dahlias, all kinds. This one's here. These are hurting for the light, so we have to either lift the light up or turn the whole thing. We'll see. And then this was planted on the 16th also, just like this one where there was nothing. So this one actually does have some growth, you can see. And these are all peppers, by the way. Forgot to mention that. This one here, see that little? That's what it looks like when they first germinate. So there's only a few. That one's called, oh, this is actually a sweet bell pepper from Poland. So there's 3 cups of that. And then these are hot peppers from Poland also. And there's 3 cups of these. And this one I can see it's starting to germinate. This shelf I showed you. Next shelf is the onions, the leeks, and this is all pepper plants also. These are just starting to come. They were planted the middle of March. So they're just starting as well. And then the bottom shelf is all my tomatoes. So I have 14 different varieties of tomatoes and 3 cups of each variety. So 14 times 3, 42 different plants, but each cup I've planted 2 seeds. So I've actually planted 84, probably close to 90 in case I overplanted in some of them, seeds. But I'm not going to be planting 90 tomato plants in my garden. That's just way too many for us. So what I'll do is, just like the peppers, I will uproot the weakest plant. Either give that away or, you know, discard, but whatever. We will see once they sprout. These were planted March 20th, so just 4 days ago. I'm expecting them to start sprouting anytime soon. So that is all of my plants that I have started for my garden so far this year. I will probably be doing another tray of flowers, and if I do some herbs, maybe, I'm not sure if I'll do herbs yet or not. I'm not 100% sure on that. But for the most part, peppers, onions, and tomatoes are my main starts. Everything else I just plant outside and grows fine. So I have the grow lights going. Basically, these are just LED shop lights that I have, and I raise and lower them as needed. And I also have grow mats on some of these. As you can see, there's a grow mat under here. I didn't put a hard surface under them this year. I just was kind of experimenting for something different. And it seemed to work just fine without a hard surface under this type of shelving. So I feel like I'm a little bit behind because I feel like because March has been such a mild March, that maybe we'll have a really early spring. Last year it was a really late spring for us, so I didn't really plant until the end of May in my garden, which means that would be 2 months from now. So I could have 2 months of growth. We'll just wait and see how the spring turns out. Otherwise, yeah, I'm happy with how things are looking so far. Hope your gardens are growing, or your seeds, or this encourages you to grow a garden or start some seeds. And we'll catch you on the next video. But until then, hope you're having an amazing day.